If I turn it on recording,
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, can you hear us?
I can't hear you. Okay.
We're on.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Lynn Stoddard, Chair of Mansfield Sustainability Committee. It's our January 10th, 2024 monthly meeting, and I am calling the meeting to order at 6:03. Welcome and Happy New Year. It's good to see you all. And we have our friends from PowerSmart here as well. So let's see. Before we entertain a motion to approve the minutes, I'm not sure everyone has met Bob and Patrice. So let's do a quick hello and your name and anything you want to say so that we all know each other. And we'll start with you, Lena.
Hi, I'm a community member. I think this is my second year serving on the committee. I work at UConn in communications, and I am now a PhD student.
Whoa!
Wow, that's great. Wow.
You needed something to do with your life, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
it. You got a full plate. Good for you.
Yeah.
Bill.
Hi. Yeah, I'm retired and doing okay, and yeah, it's very, very nice. I love to see you guys all the time, so it's thank you much to do that. It's okay.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Bill's been on the committee for a long, long time.
About 14 years.
Oh my gosh, Bill, we go way back, don't we?
I know, it's a long time ago. It was good though.
Yeah. Katie.
I'm Katie Fertoni. I'm the representative from Planning and Zoning.
Good to see you, Katie. Let's see. I'm going to continue with our committee. Susanna.
Oh, it's so nice to see you all. I'm Susanna.
Oh.
I'm the representative from Mansfield Public Schools K-8, pre-K-8.
Yay.
That's great.
Or the school board. No, I don't work at the school. I'm on the school board.
Peter, hello.
Hi, Bob and Patrice. Always good to see you.
Likewise.
And Josh. We're just saying hello for Bob and Patrice and just general. Yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you. Josh Walters, just a resident here in Mansfield.
Yeah, and he's got a giveaway at what he does for his day job when you look at his name. Works at Deep. And Ginny, our amazing staff support.
Hi, Bob and Patrice. Nice to see you.
Yeah, and so Bob and Patrice, you wanna just say a quick hello before we get rolling?
Sure. I'm Bob Wall, Vice President of Smart Power, and many moons ago I worked for what is now the Connecticut Green Bank, and I had the pleasure of partnering quite a bit with Lynn when she was at what is now known as Deep. And like you, I'm a member of my town's sustainability task force, and I'm currently the chair.
Yay, go get him, Fairfield. And Patrice, hi.
Hi, everybody. My name is Patrice Gillespie. I've lived in Wilton for decades, and I served on the Conservation Commission and the Energy Commission. And that led me to decide I wanted to work for Mother Nature in a robust way. So I've worked for the Sierra Club on their Cool Cities program, worked for Clean Air, Cool Planet, and now Smart Power, a couple others in between. Climate mitigation is, my mantra, and a founding member of Wilton Go Green. Thanks. Nice to meet everybody.
Another town powerhouse organization. Katie, are you waving or raising?
I just wanted to know if Al got in touch with Ginny, because he's joined another group. He's not getting off. He was officially put on be at the town council the other night. But he has also joined the Transportation Committee for the town of Mansfield. And
Wow.
unfortunately, they only meet 4 times a year, and unfortunately, they picked tonight.
Well,
Or
good
he'd
for
be here.
him. And that'll be good to have some crossover, some kind of connection to the transportation committee. So, yes, I got that notice that the town council had reappointed him to our committee, which is great. So we look forward to that. Say hello to him for us. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the November 8th, 2023 minutes.
So moved.
Thanks, Katie. Do we have a second?
Yeah, yes. Bill,
All right,
yes.
Bill, thanks for the second. Do we have any discussion on the minutes before we vote?
No.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
All, I think I heard your voice, right, Peter?
Yep.
Okay, opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so that was a unanimous vote in favor. Thank you very much. So you noticed that on November 8th, we did sort of meet on December 13th. It was our in-person meeting at the town hall that Bob and Patrice attended and presented on PowerSmart. So some of you were there, and we can do a little recap because that is the next item on the agenda. So we kicked off the PowerSmart campaign. As you know, it was endorsed and signed on to by the town council a while ago. And we had a great turnout and lots of interest and questions. And I thought the presentation panel was phenomenal. So in addition to Bob and Patrice kind of talking about the program, there was a solar installer who could answer maybe some of the more technical questions. And then our very own Paul Aho from Mansfield, who has a solar and battery system that's been installed at his house for a while. And he gave a great overview of like the experience in getting the system in and the costs and some of the troubles along the way and so on. So it's pretty comprehensive. There's a lot of interest, a lot of questions. And that's, so I think I'll open it up for anyone else to provide observations on the December 13th meeting. And then we've got some work to do because that was just the kickoff. And now we need to figure out where we go from here to get the word out to residents and continue the campaign. Maybe Bob and Patrice want to lead on that. But anyone else who was at the meeting want to offer comments or other information to those who might have missed it?
I'll just say that I would endorse what you said, Lynn, that it was a very good presentation and a good turnout. But the other thing that struck me was that as opposed to when Paul put in his solar and particularly battery, the incentives have become much sweeter, much more generous. And just to make a small joke at Paul's expense, he would certainly wish that he had by some piece of magic been able to put in his system now rather than two years ago, but he certainly did a good thing back then. So
yes, that did jump out too. It was a great point. Anyone else? Bob, Patrice, how do you think it went? We're not comparing ourselves to other towns, but like you've done a lot of these.
Let's just say if we were handing out awards for the best turnout at a PowerSmart kickoff event, congratulations, the winner is Mansfield.
Hey.
and Ginny Walton was largely the person responsible for that big turnout.
Yes, I was going to continue with the awards. Most radio interviews, the award goes to Ginny Walton, and Ginny, you're a total rock star, and the efforts you collectively put into promoting this, publicizing it, did pay off because it was by far the best turnout. We had a good turnout in Southbury, but nothing compared to Mansfield. And we also had about 15 people following virtually. So the crowd was even larger than it appeared in the photo. And I don't know if you noticed, but Smart Power has a monthly newsletter, and you were the feature story, or a photo of the event was right at the top of the December issue.
Oh, nice. Ah, yeah, so what was it? Like, I don't know how many people that was. 30, 40, 40?
I think it was in the 40s, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Plus the people
Plus the
online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Big congratulations, and we're actually taking what you did and kind of using that as like a best practice guide for other towns to, the effort you put into promoting it really pays off in the end. So looking ahead, we had already telegraphed that our plan in February is to have a virtual presentation hosted by the Connecticut Green Bank, which is one of the co-administrators of the Energy Storage Solutions Program. And although I gave a sneak preview of the decision by PURA, which increased the incentives, as was mentioned earlier, I think by Peter, they'll be able to talk about it in detail, as well as other changes, among which they're trying to expand the number of eligible technologies and eligible contractors for the program to give customers even more choice than currently exists. Probably the hottest topic among that is about concerns Tesla. They had been part of the Eversource program, Connected Solutions, which was the original battery program in the state that has been sunsetted as of December 1st of last year. And Tesla customers who are enrolled in that program will roll over into the Energy Storage Solutions program, but they want to make them a full-fledged participant. And we understand that there have been many discussions, and perhaps now that this is the only show in town, they'll be more likely to come on board. So we look forward to that. And based on our discussions with the Green Bank, they have indicated that Wednesday seems to be the sweet spot for doing virtual events, and it would be early evening, probably 6:30 or time frame, 6 or 6:30. I can't remember where they landed. Patrice, do you recall?
I think we did one of each.
Okay, so, and just in case we have input on this, do you guys have a preference for Mansfield? Is one time better than others? This would probably run 1 hour again with the Q&A. So I don't know if it's better to do it slightly earlier or later at 6:30.
what did we do December 13th? That was good timing. Like, did we meet? Was that at 6?
It was in place of your meeting.
Yeah. So it was a Wednesday at 6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. So that time worked great for you guys, right?
Man, it seemed pretty popular. You guys think we should go with that again?
Well, Bob, this is with other communities in the campaign, right? It's not
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, we tried to impose upon the Green Bank as little as possible. So we're going to invite other communities. And, I don't think anybody is like dead set on one time or the other, but to the extent there is a consensus, we would try to go with that. But it would presumably run no later than 7:30 if we chose the later start time. And it will make sure that it's recorded, and we'll provide the link so that people who cannot attend can at least watch it at their convenience.
I
So
don't know, 6 or 30.
We'll keep everybody posted on the date and time, and we'll be creating flyers once again you can use to help promote it. And we can talk about how to get the word out. They could just do reruns of Ginny's interviews, and we'll just patch in the new date and time. So beyond that, we learned that there are at least 2 people that we're aware of in Mansfield who have solar plus storage, and undoubtedly there's others. So we would love to get testimonials from those folks. I'm not going to mention names, but they know who they are. And that could be written or video. And by video, I don't mean high tech. It could be just someone holding a cell phone and doing like a 60-second, just a personal pitch on why they decided to, get solar and storage, and or what's their experience with it. So similar to Paul Aho's talk, but shortened for consumption. And Patrice and I also thought that we might be able to do a tour of a home that has solar and storage, and depending on the comfort level, that could either be an in-person tour. I know many of us are friends of People's Action for Clean Energy, and they ran many tours of homes successfully, but others might not have the same comfort level. So we'd be open to doing something like a FaceTime virtual tour if we together with the hosts were to film something, and we could walk through and talk about some of the issues that the owners experienced, and then their reactions to, like, how long did it take to put in, and how's it working so far, things like that. So again, that's for you guys to decide, and no one is forced to do it, but it could be sort of a different approach. Otherwise, we would be available to do another in person, but we want to try to mix it up a little. So anybody who came to the first one or saw it online, it's something different. It's not just a rerun. So that's something to think about. And then beyond that, to the extent you have local events such as Earth Day events in April, or farmers markets, which probably won't start until the crops are coming up.
Yeah.
But other local events that we could provide materials to help get the word out. But we're open to any ideas. We haven't exhausted everything. So if you guys have thoughts, please let us know. We're very flexible and excited to explore new ideas. So Patrice, anything you want to add to those suggestions? Oh, you're on mute.
Very interested in what other events or promotional opportunities we could tie into. Did we talk about Grid Edge in Mansfield during
Yeah.
we did touch on it, didn't we?
We did, and like many towns, it's part of the town, but not all of the town. So if you happen to live on the so-called Grid Edge, what that stands for is they looked at the top 10 electrical circuits that had experienced power outages over the past decade, as well as the top 10 that experienced the longest outages. And those people who live in those circuits are deemed to be Grid Edge. And that could change from year to year. And I think the PURA decision recognizes that somebody might be in the process of considering. So they're not going to slam the door on somebody if, whenever the magic date is for the new Grid Edge list, your circuit has fallen off. They would honor that, and you would be able to get a 50% adder to the incentives, whether you're a standard customer or a low income customer. It would bump you up by 50% of whatever the going incentive is, and those are based on kilowatt hours of your system. So we'll keep people posted on changes. We did in our original presentation, but again, we expect the Green Bank's presentation to be much more detailed and get into some of the things that we didn't and why that's important for folks.
Can you remind us of the length of the campaign, just to get that question of like what else is going on in town in terms of events and outreach?
Yeah, typically they're 20 weeks, so 5 months, give or take. And we're flexible, although our funding is not indefinite. And if we will. We have created the website for Mansfield, which is powersmartmansfield.we with 2 E's.green. And that will remain in place even after Patrice and I have moved on to other towns or whatever's happening. And we'll provide updates, and we'll, that would include invitations to future events. Many of us are excited to go to a tour of a Connecticut-based battery company in Danbury So it's been difficult to schedule, but it looks like we're going there on the 25th or so. So that's something, if anybody from your group of town is interested, we can arrange for a tour. I know it's a long trip from Mansfield to Danbury, but it could be pretty cool to see a, home state company that manufactures batteries, and they're on the Green Bank's list of eligible contractors. They're called Cadenza, by the way.
So that, like, we're looking at now through April, May-ish, right? For
Yes.
the bulk of that outreach. Do other ideas come up to people of outreach opportunities? Earth Day is a good one. And there's usually something going on then. Any other thoughts or things you know about that are happening in that time frame?
I don't know, I don't know whether there are opportunities and whether if there are, we could be part of it, but so of course, Store Center will have some events. Maybe Cynthia would let us piggyback onto that a bit.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. I don't know whether we don't really have a budget, do we, for putting ads in places, do we?
Smart Power doesn't have a budget for that, but we will provide materials. So some of the towns in round one have already carried on, even though we've finished our in-person work. And as I said, we keep the website intact, and we'll be updating it periodically with any helpful information. But we would provide materials so that the town could carry on. One thing we recognize that, as I said to the West Hartford group 1 hour ago, whereas we used to have a tagline in Solarize called "Solar Simple Together," we recognize that by introducing batteries to the equation and dealing with some people who have solar and want a battery, or some people who don't have anything and they want both, some people who just want a battery, it's no longer Solar Simple Together. So we're still working on the next tagline, but we're trying to make it as clear and concise and simple as possible. But we recognize that it's not as straightforward as just going solar.
I can't speak for Paul, but I will certainly ask him whether he would be up for a virtual tour of his house, and that's an event that can garner some interest if he or someone else is willing.
So you're saying, Peter, that it would be a virtual tour? He would walk around with a camera, or would we invite people? Would he invite people to actually see the installation?
Let me ask him what he's up for. I thought that you were saying that that's what you were thinking of, a virtual tour. But
No, it's either or. If somebody's comfortable doing a home tour, and they could certainly limit it, and make any ground rules that they feel comfortable. But as I said, Pace did many tours over many years, and to my knowledge, never had any problems. But everybody might feel differently about inviting strangers into their home. So we have the luxury of doing a virtual tour, which could be live streamed on Facebook or just recorded and posted. So it's just something to consider and see what his appetite is.
Well, given that his system is essentially in his garage, I think he would be particularly up for it. But I would talk that through with him, and
that's perfect, actually, because you could look at the roof to see the solar, and then open the garage, and then nobody has to traipse through the living room, the whatever. So that might be a perfect solution. But please, if you don't mind talking to him, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Another possible event, although it's an ongoing event and I don't know when it will start, but eventually the farmers market will start up again. And I don't know when that would be, but maybe one time we could be there.
Yeah, we can provide like a palm card or some other takeaway. We try not to create too much waste to keep on the good side of Ginny.
The farmers market is happening now. It's in
Oh, it
the
is?
just inside the library, so I think we could certainly do that anytime. I mean, it's every other week, I think. I have the schedule somewhere.
Yeah, it's first and third Saturdays, December through April, 3 to 5 p.m. at the library. So I'm assuming in May, we start outside at the town hall again.
So if you could just give us details.
Oh, May 4th, sorry. For 2024, every Saturday, front of the town hall from May 4th through November 6th from 3 to 5. So it's always 3 to 5. Through April, it's at the library, and May onwards, it's outside. And obviously, we get a lot more people at the outside ones.
That's what I was going to ask, whether anybody has attended. I haven't never gone to it down at the library, so I don't know how well it's attended at there.
If you can just confirm those details in writing, we could do a flyer and use that, in the meantime to promote the farmers market. And I guess depending on someone's availability to staff it, and you'd probably need to get permission from the market managers. So it might
And you
just,
could always check the Mansfield Downtown Partnership website, that they sponsor a lot of different events from time to time. And I don't know all of them, but they might have a listing of what events they're going to do. And I know the town is trying to do a maple festival
All right.
in March.
That's gonna be big.
Yeah, they're expecting it to be really big. I don't know if they want non-maple producers in it yet. They haven't, finalized all of the details. But could always contact Brian and ask him for any details, because I think he is working with another group that is trying to put it together.
so
Yeah.
one other idea I had is if anyone has any connections with a journalist, we might be able to do a personal story, with somebody who has solar and storage, and just kind of explore it, because I know in Solarize when we did that tended to generate a lot of interest from readers. So
Yeah, that's a great idea. The Willimantic Chronicle basically picks up every press release they get.
Would Margaret be available to do something, since it's something that the town has supported? I mean, we have our own in-house PR person.
you could try.
I think she's pretty strapped with,
Okay.
and she's seems to always kind of be racing around.
Okay.
But it would be good to touch base with her, like if you guys were willing to help write it. She's got the relationship with the reporters, and adding a quote in from the mayor or something.
What is her name, please?
Oh, Margaret Chatty,
Oh, yeah.
Chatey. Yeah, if something is written, she'll post it. It can go in the e-newsletter, and
Yeah, the town manager's newsletter.
yeah.
Great.
Would any
Um,
of you be willing to go on the radio? I know Wayne Norman.
Oh yeah, he'll do it. Huh.
Station is
Great idea.
that Yukon?
WILI, Willimantic's radio station.
Just posted the link that Ginny sent and put the WILI logo next to it. So I just learned that the other day.
yeah, I was on WILI twice, actually. So the Wayne Norman show, and also John Murphy's program. So if there was something that was coming up or new information, then they'd probably be interested to invite one of you to be
Yeah, if we
interviewed.
wanted to promote the house tour or something. That'd be-
Yeah.
Not the house tour, the basement tour.
The garage tour. Yeah.
Right. Patrice, you had your hand up. We're gonna. add something else?
Yeah, about the Maple Festival, you know, when I used to table for the Sierra Club, and one of the things we would point out to little kids, you know, I bet you love maple syrup, you know, and they were like, yeah, yeah, you know, and we would mention to the parents, you know, our maple trees are in trouble because it's not getting cold, it's not staying cold enough anymore now in Connecticut. You know, the maple trees are retreating north, and, you know, there may come a day when we don't have any maple trees in Connecticut or even a little farther north. So, you know, there's ways to use that festival and underline the importance of reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah. So that's a multi-town event that's always been in Hebron, and Mansfield's taking it on. So it will be people from the region, but you know, I think
That's fine too. If anybody
Yeah.
is from those towns is interested, you know, we won't turn them away.
okay.
Yep. You know, Bob and I we were supposed to have a hard stop at 6:30, but we could stay with you a couple more minutes if anybody has any questions. But I'm really impressed with all the promotional opportunities that were just discussed here. So we'll continue the efforts, right?
Yeah, and we'll try to summarize these and send it back to you so we have a kind of to-do list or a little bit of a game plan. But once again, Mansfield is ahead of the pack with more great ideas than the other towns.
I do have a question, and that is, I was talking to somebody today, and he wanted to get in touch with somebody. I directed him to the Mansfield page that you just mentioned earlier, but can he call either of you? I know in the press
Yeah.
release, Bob, you're named.
Yeah, if you want, Patrice can send her number also. And I did receive, I think, 6 inquiries from Mansfield residents, and I think I responded to all. I hope I have, but I might have missed one. But we'd be happy to talk to anybody. And we also have a technical consultant available who knows more than we do, so he can answer the tough questions.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Awesome. Any final comments or suggestions for?
Apologies if you actually said it, but is there a date that's been decided on for the Green Bank presentation?
Not yet.
No, we're discussing with them, but you know, we had told them previously that, you know, February would be a great time to do this.
Okay.
And it's probably a Wednesday, which seems to be their magic day.
I'm just
another-
gonna make a quick comment about my personal journey with solar and battery.
Oh,
The system's been in our house since August 1st, and we can't get Eversource's attention. We finally got it after calling May Flexer and Greg Haddad and many other people, but it's absolutely ridiculous that they don't have enough inspectors, and it's not it's not going to help the program. I know you've probably heard it, but you guys may have other connections to voice this to the Energy Efficiency Board or Pura or whoever. It's incredibly frustrating. You know, we have a crisis. We're pushing renewables in Connecticut, and here these panels sit.
So how long did it take? How many months?
Well, they were installed August 1st.
And when were they approved?
They've been in and out, and there was they weren't familiar with these batteries, which were different and back and forth, but then it's just like weeks and weeks and weeks before the next step happens. So I think we're getting resolved after Greg stepped in, but in general, it's not good.
There was some comments in the PURA decision about the inspection process, so we'll be happy to mention that, and we can leave your name out of it. But it's important that the administrators know that it's adversely impacting the program.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Mary Lynn, did you submit anything to Pura's
My husband started to, and he got
EOE?
very frustrated with the online thing and not being able to talk to someone, and said, screw it.
Yeah, the website's terrible. Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, thanks, guys. And as I said, we'll summarize these ideas and open to new ideas all the time, and look forward to having Mansfield get the award for the best campaign once we're done.
Yeah, and Susanna, I just saw evidence of your expressed interest. So thanks for using the website to do that.
Yes, I was just on there. I found out that I'm on a grid edge.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Lucky
Pretty
you.
exciting.
Cool.
All right,
So-
guys.
Me
Good luck
too.
with the rest of your meeting, and we
Yeah,
thank you. for
Take care.
your,
Thank you.
Thank you
opportunity.
guys so much.
Thanks, Patrice and Bob.
Thank you.
All right, be well.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, any other final wrapping up comments about PowerSmart before we move on to the next thing?
Well,
yeah.
I
had
do.
one.
Let's see, I heard Ginny and Matt, I think. Matt, do you want to go ahead and then Ginny?
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm driving. I mean, I shouldn't say I'm driving because it's being recorded, but I anyway. My brother-in-law got a Tesla roof. He lives down in Mystic, and he had problems with Eversource. He got 2 battery banks with his Tesla solar roof, and he was supposed to be able to sell to them. They were supposed to be able to draw at peak times. They told him his transformer, or the transformer on the telephone pole, was like 2% undersized, even though all this was in the numbers and in the proposals and part of his budget. They told him he couldn't do that unless he himself paid them $20,000 to upgrade their transformer, which he wouldn't have owned. So he, of course, refused. And then, so then I guess he is not a part of that because you can get reimbursed. I don't know what the reimbursement is, if it was like $1,500 a year or something, if you let the power company draw from your battery bank at certain times, not during outages, but at other times. But anyway, so he was ineligible because of that transformer, and then he caught them swiping his energy anyway, and he had a fit, and he called them, and they don't take his energy anymore. But because of that oversight, he was ineligible. And again, that was part of the calculations he did on payback and whatnot. So it is, I'm sorry to hear, Lynn, that you're having some issues too, but it seems like there are some definite bugs in the system here that need to be worked out. Because the last thing we want to have is people going to do this stuff and then having it be awful and having it be a nightmare. And word of mouth is the worst thing, if it's negative. But I just wanted to share that with everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Matt, what town was he in? What town is he in?
Did you say?
He's in Mystic.
And I don't know, Josh, if I'm sorry I didn't use the Pura docket, or the Pura response form, but if you want to talk about official ways to give feedback to the program, if you.
Yeah, there's a it's called the Office of Education. And of course, I just clicked out of the website. Give me 1 second and I'll get you the name of it. But there's a division at Pura whose one of their roles is to field complaints and customer concerns. The Office of Education Outreach and Enforcement. So if you just search EOE Pura, that link should come up. And if you have to, the state of Connecticut's websites can be very difficult to navigate. But if you scroll down to the bottom of that, there's a formal process where you can file complaints. There's an email you can send it to. So there's a number of different options. And I think it would be a good thing if folks are having trouble, to encourage them to submit information to those lines of communication, so that Pura has visibility into what's going on. Because they really do rely on customers bringing that stuff to their attention, I think.
What was the name of that office of, what was that?
Office of Enforcement, Education, Outreach and Enforcement, EOE. That's I just know I always refer to it as EOE. I'm happy to send the email. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Lynn.
That's helpful. Yeah, okay. I'll do it.
Yeah, that's just, it's, they're obviously very, I think they would be concerned if they knew that these programs they're trying to do to get these processes rolling and encourage people, are running into problems.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks. Ginny, you were about to say something before.
Oh, I was going to say before you move on to the next topic, do you want to pin down some like people who would be willing to do a testimonial video testimonial? I mean, are there more than 2 people in Mansfield that have battery and solar paired?
I've got a guy in my neighborhood that I know has solar, and I believe he's got the battery. I can text him as soon as our meeting's over, and I can ask him if he's willing to do a testimonial.
Okay.
Peter, do you know anyone else?
Only Paul, but I would be glad to ask him if he would do a testimonial. What are you thinking? Like a minute, or are we talking 3 minutes, or?
Probably pretty short. You know,
And I guess we would use it probably in a variety of spaces, like, I mean, we could ask Patrice and Bob to put it on the Mansfield PowerSmart website. We could, we don't want to forget Mansfield Connections. Somebody could post it there.
He could do a testimonial in his garage, showing off his system, like, so it could be a little short tour plus a testimonial.
That's great. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I actually just thought of some people I know that used the same company we did, and when we said we were getting battery, they piggybacked on when the company was doing our house and got their battery, and they're up and running a long time ago. I could ask them if they'd be willing. And yeah, I think we want people who've used the state incentives. So, there are other people like the Perkins, but they did theirs battery independently.
Well, that would be great. Just out of curiosity, are you comfortable saying what company you used? Lynn?
Aegis.
Which one?
Aegis, AEGIS. They bought up
Sunlight Solar.
which was the vendor we used on our other house.
Okay,
We
thanks.
liked them.
So I missed the meeting last month. Did they also cover like the new tax credits coming available now for storage and solar and all of that stuff? Because that'll be a significant additional benefit as well.
I mean, I think they covered everything, but I don't know if there were changes, if there were new tax credits. I don't recall. But could ask Greenbank to cover it again, because obviously multiple times is good.
I believe they did, but although they concentrated on the state incentives.
Yeah. Hello, Al. We're just finishing up the conversation on the PowerSmart campaign. Okay, so a couple of us are gonna check with other people who might do testimonials. Peter's gonna check with Paul about a possible tour. I mean, I can ask the people I'm gonna ask about testimonials also about a possible tour. It's so we have backup or other options. And yeah, anyone else who Matt's gonna reach out to his neighbor. Does we mentioned Mansfield Downtown Partner? I can reach out to Kathleen or Cynthia and see if there are any, on the website, there are no like kind of specific events for this spring, just like the usual annual stuff, but I can reach out and see if they've got anything popping that this might be useful for. And there's something that like, I guess that's in the fall, a big event with like town services that's combined with UConn, probably in the fall when the students arrive, right? Do you know what I'm talking about, Ginny? Okay. Well, Cynthia will, I'll ask. Okay. Anything else people can think of?
When the Green Bank event is settled on, Ginny, would the town be able to put together a flyer? And I would be glad to take that flyer. There aren't that many places that will let you put up a flyer, but Mansfield Supply will go a long way towards making it worthwhile doing that flyer.
Community center, probably on that kiosk.
Yeah, they might.
Senior Center and Toast also have bulletin boards.
Also, the town hall might allow flyers for this kind of event, which has a town connection to it.
The post office too, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, the post office has a big one.
Oh, well. Okay.
I think Patrice and Bob would do the flyer,
Okay, that would be
I
great.
think that's part of their service.
Awesome. Okay, so we got a crew to distribute them and post them.
As part of, can I ask, I'm sorry, quick question. As part of all of this is time sensitive, right? Folks need to have a limited window. I feel like that's not as clear on the website, so it might be something to include in the flyer.
Oh, you mean it's time sensitive for the person who wants to have solar and battery?
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Oh,
not.
it's
The
not. Okay.
campaign is
The
limited.
campaign is limited. Okay, got it.
But nothing special, nothing additional has been created by the town joining in. The town is just spotlighting what already exists.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I'm sorry. I was confused about the timeline stuff. It's just the campaign is time limited. Thank you.
Yeah, good clarification. Alrighty then. So looks like we're off and running. In good shape. It's great. Food rescue and composting. I think this is you, Ginny.
Yeah, it is. I wanted input from residents about moving the dial on getting food waste out of the trash. So you may be aware that we're now offering curbside collection of food scraps. I mean, we need a minimum amount of people to do that, and we're not there yet. And it is an additional cost. We're also, and this was all went out to bid. So these are the offerings that 2 different contracts offered. The other part of the service is a food cycler, which is a piece of equipment that dehydrates and grinds food scraps. And one of the things you can do with that is you can put bones in it, like lighter density bones, like chicken bones, turkey bones, fish bones, and it turns it into kind of a soil peat moss type. It's not finished compost, but it's something that you can then sprinkle on the ground to finish composting or put in a compost pile. And again, that's an additional cost to do it. It's a rental of the equipment through the trash company. So we've had some people that have expressed and signed up for both of those things. Of course, the best thing is to backyard compost. That it has the least environmental footprint. Using the transfer station compost pile has the next environmental footprint using the food cycler, the next, believe it or not. And then curbside collection has the greatest environmental footprint before putting in the trash or down a garbage disposal. Those are those have big environmental footprints. You know, garbage disposals create a lot of methane. So it's an issue using a garbage disposal. So to move this further along, what do you think of the idea of having the cost of the collection or maybe the food cycler built into the cost of trash service, like it's part of trash service, unless you opt out? So a person can opt out if they do curbside composting or if they take their compost to the transfer station. But if you sign up for service, you're automatically getting curbside service. You know, you have to indicate that you're going to opt out otherwise. So what that conceivably would mean is that people's trash rates who don't compost would go up. So but the environmental option is the one that is in place. You know, it's cookie cutter. And then yeah, so anyhow, I just wanted some your impressions on that, your thoughts on what that might look like.
Hey, Jenny, I thought you said that if our trash cost goes down because of the lack of waste and the lack of tonnage or whatever, that eventually we might save money on our trash costs, and therefore it wouldn't cost us, like maybe year 2 or whenever that is, as much for trash, and then that would wash out. Am I misunderstanding that?
No, but the cost for instance, the cost to rent the food cycler is $20 a month, which is expensive. I mean, and the cost for curb collection is just under $15 a month.
Now,
so the difference between the service sizes, it's about $6 difference between one service size to another. It goes up as you go up to higher service sizes. So you would offset some of the costs, but it wouldn't, it would actually mean that you're paying more unless you compost at home, if you have a backyard, if you have that opportunity.
So what is that bone grinder? Is that a machine that the household would rent for a year the way you rent your trash cans?
Yeah, it would, but you could buy it. I mean, you can buy it on Amazon, you know.
Oh, I'm liking the thought of this new machine. This sounds exciting. Grinding up chicken bones and, you know, bone meal. You pay a lot of money for bone meal if you're gardening. So that could add a lot of nutrients to a compost pile that normally wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
I gotta get that information. I like that idea. So what about how much do we have estimates from these companies if somebody never because I always backyard compost, but if you don't backyard compost, I can imagine you're probably adding quite a bit of trash. I wonder if you backyard compost, is there any data on what percentage of reduction in trash that would be? And maybe you could downsize your trash container and therefore pay less, even though there would be a cost then increased to be doing curbside composting. Maybe that way it could wash out, or don't we know all that yet?
As far as weights or volume, I mean, it is very conceivable that a household could go from, depending on their size, depending on, you know, who's in the household. I mean, there's a lot of different factors. If you have little kids, I think you're probably going to have more food waste.
Right.
So you could go down a service size though. I've had people tell me I was able to go down a service size because I now compost. So, but I don't have the data, and I don't know how many people compost in their backyard, you know. I have no idea.
Because that could be, it's hard to, in my mind, it's hard to try to convince people, hey, this is the greatest thing for the environment. By the way, you're going to pay more money for it. It'd be nice if we could say to people, well, you'll be, you know, maybe you just say to the people, well, you know, you can sign up to get this. There's an extra cost, but you should be able to go down a receptacle size and therefore save the money. So therefore it gets offset. I'm wondering if it could be approached that way as opposed to just signing everybody up. I don't know, unless the signing everybody up just necessitates more people would be doing the right thing, I guess, for the environment. I don't know. I hope that made sense. I'm going to stop talking. Katie wants to talk. Sorry, thank you.
Katie, then Lena, and just conscious of the time. Get it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just wanted to say that, unfortunately, I can't compost in my backyard anymore. I bought the composter, and where I had to put it to meet the regulations of the park, it never got any sun, so nothing ever baked or broke down. So I ended up giving it away to somebody else that had a big backyard that was perfect for it. And I think in like this mobile home park, people are not going to pay extra because they don't have it. They pay for trash pickup through their rent on their lot, but they don't personally pay for it. So the one to talk to would be to maybe see if we could get Sun Communities involved. And I can talk to them for you to see if they would be willing to, if it cut down their total bill, if they made the initial investments, if it would cut down their big bill, they might be interested in helping us out. I would love to be composting, to tell you the truth. The compost is just the best thing for the gardens. The veggies go bananas. So I agree with Matthew that anything we can do that way. But in this community, it's going to probably be a very, very hard sell when it comes to that. And most of these people only have one bag a week. We have two, but that's just us. But I usually see just one.
Thanks, Katie. Lena?
How much was the increase for the trash service? Like, Ginny?
Do you mean from one service size to another?
To include the curbside pickup of the compost
It would be under $15.
additionally
Yeah, I should say a month.
a month. Oh,
And you know, so it is significant. But I should say that all the costs for service, the tipping fees, the collection costs have all risen. And so we're just kind of riding on the fund reserve because this is all paid out of enterprise fund. So this year we're riding on that reserve. And so this year, actually 2024 in the summer, we'll see what the new contract is for recycling, because I anticipate that will go up too. And then we're probably going to increase rates. So I figure that's the time to add in the cost of compost pickup and then work it out so that it is a savings. If you do drop a service size, you know, cost you less. We'll see. So
because
I don't know.
if everyone were paying like a little bit more so that everyone who couldn't do backyard composting or, you know, because we're all going to benefit if we have compost because we'll have less trash overall. being hauled by Willie Waste, right?
You know, I have to admit, I don't actually understand what you're proposing, Ginny, in terms of, in other words, I understand it's $15 a month now if you want to do it, but I'm not clear about how you were planning to spread the cost. In other words, if you thought that 200 people in town would do this, and so 200 times $15, here, would cost $3,000. Do I have that right? In any case, whatever it is, are you talking about taking the total cost for the likely number of people who would be wanting to compost and spreading it among all ratepayers?
No, I'm talking about adding it into the cost of the bill. So it's just going to be, if you sign up for trash service, you get curbside compost collection unless you opt out. And I wouldn't be able to enforce the opting out because there's one of me and, you know, a lot of residents, but probably most people that would opt out would be those who do backyard composting or take their food scraps to the transfer station to compost. So I'm saying, no, other people wouldn't pay for it. Each household would pay the cost of curbside composting unless they opt out.
So you're just saying that if somebody wants to do this, it would simply be put on their bill? Is that?
It'd be part of their bill, just automatically part of their bill. Yep.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, that's an idea. I just wanted a little bit of feedback, but I know we're over time, so.
Hey, Jenny, how would you handle a cheater? Because if all you got to do is saying I'm
You muted yourself, Matthew. And I'll just answer your question.
but what
People,
if they had to like prove it, like take a picture of your compost pile or give one receipt from the transfer station or a picture of you with your food waste at the transfer station? I don't know. I'm just thinking.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I guess let people cheat, right? But you know, if there's yeah, anyhow.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap us because we're 6 minutes over, and you know me, I like to reach the end time. So what we're gonna do is table sustainable CT and other business for the next meeting, which will be Valentine's Day. We're gonna spend Valentine's Day together.
All
What
right.
about you guys? I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, yeah.
Do people have big plans that night, or should we just go ahead and meet?
That's me.
You can always go out with your sweetheart afterward.
Oh, but Al and I are gonna party hardy on Valentine's.
As you live together while you're
that?
here.
I've got a plan to tell you.
All right, let's go. Let's keep the meeting, and you just be forewarned that you'll have a lovely time with some committee Valentines here, and then you can be with your real sweetheart later on if you'd like. And yeah, was there any other really pressing thing, Ginny, and other business?
No.
Okay. All right. So we shall adjourn. And thanks for a great meeting. Excited about
you.
the progress on PowerSmart. We'll see y'all.
Bye, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Happy
Take
New Year.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.